Frank Wilson was on the SEC Coaches Teleconference today, and he updated the status of Whit Weeks and Carius Curne. I will start with Carius Curne, who we talked about yesterday with the offensive line. Wilson said Carius will have a chance. I think his progress has been a steady one. He's played more and more in each one of the practices, so I'm optimistic that he'll have an opportunity to play for us. That certainly is not a ringing endorsement that Curran's going to be ready to go. I think there's a chance. We spoke about it yesterday. You're going to look at a situation where DJ Chester is the next man up at that spot, puts Weston Davis at right tackle, DJ Chester at left tackle. It's not ideal for LSU in any way, shape, or form, but you'd certainly rather have Curne than not have him, especially because I believe LSU is intent on running the ball a lot in this game. And Carius Curne's just a big physical dude that can help run the football. Is he the best pass protector at left tackle in the Southeastern Conference? No, he's not. You saw that in the A&M game, but he's big, he's physical, he can move some people, and I think that if he can play, they'd love to have him in there. The more impactful situation here might be Whit Weeks, and the message on Weeks wasn't as positive. Wilson said, I think he's probably more doubtful at this time considering today. We'll see how today's practice goes and how he looks, but we're hopeful. And then he continued on when asked a follow-up question about what Weeks is able to do. And y'all realize that Whit Weeks has been in a walking boot for like a month. This is what Frank Wilson had to say. He can put weight on it. He can straight line run. He'll be on the practice field, but the game isn't just linear. Our sport is one of starting, stopping, changing direction, awkward position, bodies falling on you, acceleration, deceleration, jump, come down, those things. That's the true test. If you walked out today and asked him to run, he could do that. We've got to put him in situations to gauge his pain tolerance to see if he could. And he has a high threshold for pain tolerance, but you just don't know because it's not just muscles that are in there. Sometimes it's nerves or other things that can annoy. We'll just see if that subsides. So point is, like, he's feeling better, he can run, but the change of direction, everything that goes into playing inside linebacker in the Southeastern Conference just may not be there for him. This is something that jumped off the page at me today, and it deals with Whit Weeks a little bit, and it deals with LSU's competition level a little bit, and it deals with everything that goes into stopping the run a little bit, but Weeks is certainly a part of this. I'm going to read out for you the rushing totals against LSU's defense this season. Just do them in order. I know numbers don't play great on radio, but you'll get this. At Clemson, LSU gave up 31 rushing yards. Louisiana Tech, LSU gave up 58 running yards. Florida, 79 rushing yards. Southeastern, 88 rushing yards. Those were with Whit Weeks at full health. You get to the point where he gets hurt in the Ole Miss game. LSU gave up, and keep in mind, those numbers were 31, 58, 79, 88. Like, all under 90 yards, including Florida with 79 and Clemson with 31. Weeks gets hurt against Ole Miss. They give up 166. Then you got South Carolina. Weeks limited in that game. They ran for 193. Vanderbilt, Weeks doesn't play. 239 rushing yards. A&M, Weeks doesn't play. 224 rushing yards. 166, 193, 239, 224. Vanderbilt and Texas A&M ran for 463 yards against LSU. I don't know how much of this is on Whit Weeks' injury. I don't know. I'm confident in suggesting that Texas A&M, South Carolina, Ole Miss, and Vanderbilt are better rushing offenses than Clemson, Louisiana Tech, Florida, and Southeastern. That is certainly a part of it. But you also look at this, and it perfectly falls in line not only with that ramp up in competition, but with Weeks being out. And I'm not here to suggest that Whit Weeks is the perfect linebacker. But anybody who finishes second in the Southeastern Conference in tackles is doing something. Now, keep in mind, in the Florida game, he didn't really play as well. That's a caveat here. He got the targeting call. And look, Devon Key stepped in and had a monster night in tackling. But you got to think that somebody who finishes second in the SEC in tackles last year would help this a little bit. And right now, LSU's run defense is not only not great, not elite, not good. LSU's run defense is bad. It's bad. And I told you all August, I'm just speaking for myself here. I told you all August, this defense is good, y'all. Defensive front's good. Linebackers can play. They're physical. They're deep. Like, it's going to be a good run defense. And then I told you after the Clemson game, Clemson just quit trying to run it. They ran it once in the second half. And I felt like this was a championship-level defense against the run, against the pass. I felt good about the guys they had rushing the passer. I said all this. And you look at what they've done the last month, it's not good. It's not great. It stinks. It's awful. 166 against Ole Miss, 193 against South Carolina, 239 against Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt didn't even run that many plays. 224 against Texas A&M. And it's different ways. Like Ole Miss is doing it with the tempo that they want to run with, and they're running it up the middle with a good running back in Lacey, and they've got Chambliss who can test the edges. South Carolina's a bit more helter-skelter, but they busted a 60-plus yard touchdown run on you for a big play. Sellers can get going a little bit. Vanderbilt is doing a little bit of triple option, a little bit of improvisation from Pavia, some quarterback runs, some just testing you in your discipline. And then Texas A&M, like Marcel Reed, got loose for 100 yards. Like it's not just like one thing that LSU can't stop. Yeah, the running quarterback's a problem, but like Sellers didn't crush you. Chambliss did, Pavia did, Reed certainly did. But there are also the big plays. Like it's everything with the run that you're not doing. And you've got Whit Weeks out. Keys is not quite that level. West Weeks, not quite that level. And, Perkins has to do some different things. You've seen the tape that Hester and Flynn have shown you. Sometimes he's a spy and not getting there. I feel like you're missing a lot with Whit Weeks. And I think there are a lot of you that would go, oh, obviously you're missing a lot with Whit Weeks. He's the captain of the team. He's an All-American. He was a preseason first-team All-SEC linebacker. Like, yeah, you're missing a lot. But I thought when he went out, like, they've got, like, Keys has played a lot. And West Weeks is a fifth-year senior, and Harold Perkins is supposed to be your most dynamic defender. And, like, you've got a front that's deep in the tackle with McKinley and with Jacoby and Guillory, and you get Bro in there, and then all of a sudden you did get Gooden back, and you got Pyburn, who's supposed to be a champion up there stopping the run, and Patrick Payton's a fourth-year player, and yeah, you lost Relaford, but you've got some physicality and some depth up there. You should be okay. They're not okay. They're getting gashed. Now, Bama hasn't done a lot of that to anybody. We went through the numbers yesterday. Bama's in the hundreds in rushing offense. They have not been a team that's leaned heavily on the run. Jam Miller's a really talented back. He's been in and out of the lineup with injuries, but they've done most of their work through the air. So maybe in this game, if Whit Weeks doesn't play, and it sounds very much like listening to Frank Wilson today that he's not going to play, like maybe Alabama tries to push you a little bit more on the run. And then who does that favor? Does it favor LSU because you take the ball out of Simpson's hands a little bit? Or does it, is it a spot where Alabama can hurt LSU on the ground like these other teams have, and that makes Simpson even better through the air? Just remains to be seen. But we didn't know the severity of this injury when Whit Weeks had it. I thought when he kind of gave it a go against South Carolina that he would probably fight through this pretty quickly, but he just hadn't gotten out of that walking boot. And it seems like he's finally out of that. Maybe he can go against Arkansas next week, but right now, as you look at it, it's just hard to see a scenario where Whit Weeks goes against Alabama, and you just continue to wonder if LSU's defense is just that severely compromised without him out there, or if this is just a matter of they weren't that good in the first place. Maybe we get our answer on Saturday, but it's a bummer that Whit Weeks it just was looking like such a promising leader for this team and right in the guts of that schedule. I mean, you don't need Whit Weeks against Tech or Southeastern. You didn't really use him against Florida, but for the guts of this schedule, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, Texas A&M, Bama, like that is the guts of the schedule. It's the toughest part of your schedule. To not have him is really disappointing. Sounds like they won't get him on Saturday, so big bummer there for LSU. Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.